Ineos Grenadier, Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Who's Sir Jim Ratcliffe? Well, he's a billionaire, and he owns Ineos Chemicals. And he has a fondness for Land Rovers and Mercedes G-Wagons. He's an off-roading type of guy. And when you're a billionaire and you like something, you can buy a lot of them, or maybe you could even purchase the rights or whatever to build it. So Sir Jim, he contacts Land Rover and says, hey, listen, I know the Land Rover, the original Defender, you know, the 1948 one, I think that's when they first started coming out. I'm a little weak on Land Rover knowledge. But anyway, I think it's 1948. And they ran that for a long, long time. Well, they quit making it. And Sir Jim, he wasn't in on that. He wanted to pay them to keep doing it or whatever. And they said, no, of course, we're not going to do that. Well, then he offered to pay for the tooling and all of the plans and everything. He was just going to continue, keep making that exactly. Land Rover said, no, man, we ain't doing that for you either. Well, see, you're a billionaire and you've been told no a few times, so you'll just make your own damn car. And that's what Sir Jim did. Now, that's not exactly as easy as it sounds. So let's pretend that a Mercedes G-Wagon and a Land Rover, they had like a baby, okay? And so that's what you get here. It's flat as crap. I mean, flat fenders, flat hood, flat panels, flat glass. It's flat, refrigerator box style. Volvo 240s, they look at this and be like, damn, you know what I'm saying? DeLoreans look at that and like, damn, look, I mean, just flat. But anyway, it is powered by a BMW. So he hooked up with BMW first, and it's got a B58 inline six or a B57 diesel. The diesel's the way to go. Usually I say the B58 is a great engine. I'm not knocking it. But the stats, it's like 282 horsepower on the gas, 332 on the torque. But the diesel has 245 horsepower and 406 pound-feet of torque. Okay, on-road capabilities, 8-speed automatic transmission, by the way, 2-speed transfer case and all of that. It's an off-road vehicle, so it's going to do that stuff very well. It doesn't do on-road stuff very well. I mean, it's there, it's substantial. It weighs, God, I think it weighs like 400 pounds. No, excuse me, 5,800 pounds. She's a heavyweight. So you got to dig into the engines to get them power. That's why the diesel is good, so that way you don't have to dig into that B58 quite as hard. Speaking of digging in, 15 miles per gallon. In the petrol, I'm assuming the diesel would be a little bit better, but like I said before, this is a refrigerator box going down the road. Aerodynamics doesn't happen, which means gas mileage isn't going to happen. But there is going to be an electric version coming in 2026, possibly. Okay, before we get on other stats, in 2023, 4,500 sold. Last year, over 8,000, so almost double. Sir Jim knows what's going on. He's doing good. He's getting there. All right, Casey, so it's just a billionaire that decided to just build a car. I'm sure that'll be a big turd. Well, he kind of thought about that too. He kind of thought people might have that same thing. So he started testing them. He took them down to Australia into the heat of the outback. They put 1.1 million plus miles on a few testers. They were giving them hell. The B58 engine in the BMW, that is a very reliable engine. Tuning capabilities are amazing. So an inline six, I think, is a great choice. Maybe even better than a V8. Especially, well, a V8 in that thing, you'd be getting like 4 miles per gallon. But anyway, okay, let's talk about a few more stats right here. Sorry, I'm looking at it. Okay, 0 to 60, 8.8 seconds. Top speed, 93 miles per hour, or 99, 93 or 99, I can't read my handwriting. She tows 7,700 pounds, almost 4 tons. Let's see here. What else we got going on? Bing, bada boom, bada boom. Okay, here we go. It was supposed to be built in Wales because it's modeled. Did you know it's named after a pub? A bar. What's a pub, Casey? It's a bar. And the name of the pub or bar was Grenadier. So Ineos, that's the name of his company, Sir Ratcliffe's. And so Ineos Grenadier. It's named after a bar. That's why I like Sir Jim. I think Sir Jim would be a pretty cool guy. I'll make sure to put up a picture of him somewhere along in here. Supposed to be built in Wales. Didn't happen. It's ended up being made in Hamburg, France. And they've even got a little France sticker on the side of one of the windows. I like that. It's got little badges. It's got unique stuff on there because it doesn't have to go through a whole bunch of different committees and votes on whether this button should be here. Speaking of buttons, I think that the Ineos team probably likes aircraft, planes, stuff like that, because when you get in here, it's very cockpity feeling. The switches are huge button. I've never actually seen an interior button say recirculation before, but by God, this one has the actual button that says air recirculation. But you've got a bunch of different things you can turn on. It's got a few different drive modes for the transfer case, locking differentials, unlock, front and rear. One thing that I am a little frowned upon, okay, with it is there's a key to start this. Okay, and that kind of makes it a little bit more rugged. You don't have to worry about the battery dying on the key fob and all that, but we're at 90 grand. Okay, there's also a quartermaster. It's called the truck. I love the name quartermaster. Makes me think of Pirates of the Caribbean. But anyway, there is a truck version coming. I haven't seen one yet, but there is one coming. Anyway, the key also, all this big, huge SUV, massive spaces everywhere. And that one little part of the screen right there in the center, you've got this one little box that gives you all your normal stuff, your RPM gauge, miles per gallon, or your gas gauge, temperature gauge, just the normal basics, speedometer, tachometer, and that's in this little bitty screen. I don't like the idiot light box. I hate to call it that, but anyway, all those lights that lit up, can you imagine? That looks kind of intimidating. But anyway, there should be, they make their own car. Who the hell am I? But I think that the mile per gallon and those normal things that every car has, well, except for Tesla, that should be out there front and center for folk to look at. But other than that, it's way cool. Those little skylight panels, those can come out, kind of like T-tops. Way cool. It does have some solar panels. It's got some solar panels on the side to help keep some thing charged. That is very cool. I do like the ladders on the back. I mean, it's got the rugged look to it. It's got all the look that the old Land Rovers used to have. So I'm all in. Weighting. Let's talk about a few different stats here before we finish up. Apparently wading, like going through water, is a big deal. I guess it rains a lot over in London, Wales. I don't really know. I live over here in the southern United States, and it does rain a little bit, but it's also not very rainy. Anyway, it can wade up to 2.8 feet in water, 800 millimeters. Part of the problem that I see with the Grenadier, and this is part of the problem I saw with this, BMW, I don't think that they're a sponsored or recommended service center. I don't think that's the way it goes. BMW did give them the engines, or not give them, but they sold them the engines and all that. But I don't think that you work on it at BMW. You have to go to a certified Ineos center. Well, there's not a lot of those on the East Coast. Matter of fact, Charlotte, real close to Charlotte, has one. Nashville, Tennessee has one. I think Cincinnati or somewhere, and then somewhere Atlanta maybe, or anyway, there's only 4 or 5 on the East Coast is what I'm trying to say. So that is a problem. But, if somebody does know how to work on BMWs, like a private mechanic, like a Euro mechanic or something like that, it is a BMW. So, but anyway, so there is a few flaws with that. Is there a lot better SUV out there? Yeah, I think so. This is very cool. As a toy, I think it would be fantastic. As a daily driver, I don't know, man. The turning radius is real bad. I thought that the Bronco Raptor turning radiuses were real bad, especially with the 37s. But this makes that look like a Yugo or a Honda Civic. You need some acreage to turn it around in. But I can only imagine it would be rough and rugged as hell off-road, because it looks the part. It looks way the part. Anyway, Sir Jim, you get the Hobley's approval. Not that you need it, but anyway. Guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Ford of Murfreesboro and Murfreesboro, Tennessee, thank you. We spend a lot of time in Ford of Murfreesboro. They supply the cars that we get to review. So thank you very much. I totally appreciate it. Thanks for listening to The Hobley. Y'all have a fantastic day.